Assalamu alaikum viewers. Today I will explain about regeneration, because in my last class I already explained but how we are producing demineralized water. So if you didn't watch my previous video, so please first time watch my previous video for better understanding. So today I will explain about regeneration, how we are doing regeneration in our plant. So in my last class I already explained how we are getting demineralized water, how we are getting polished water for the boiler for getting steam. So today I will explain how we are doing regeneration on cation tower, anion tower or a mixed bed unit. So it is so much easy. So please watch my video up to last moment for better understanding. If any confusion, please comment. I will try to give explanation. So okay viewers, on the cation tower all cation will absorb, and on the anion tower all anion will absorb. After absorbing all cation and all anion, this resin will be exhausted. So that's why I need to activation the resin. When resin will be exhausted, it will not work. If any water coming with hardness, all hardness water will passes through this tower, because resin deactivated. It is not working. So that's why we have to do this regeneration. Because in this cation tower, normally all cation are absorbed. So first time we will do this regeneration for cation tower. For the regeneration we are using two types of chemical. One is sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid, another is sodium hydroxide. So sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid we are using on the cation tower, and sodium hydroxide we are using on the anion tower. So how it will react? So I will try to give explanation with reaction. Cation tower are available positive ion. Okay, so if it will react, if we provide hydrochloric acid on the cation tower, because cation tower already are available cation or positive ion. If we are provide acid, that means hydrochloric acid, what will happen? We provide hydrochloric acid HCl, and cation tower are available calcium ion. For the regeneration on the cation tower are available all cation or positive ion with resin, like this. Resin available calcium, resin available magnesium, and with resin available sodium. Okay, if we provide sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid on the cation tower, what will happen? Which reaction will happen if we provide hydrochloric acid with calcium? Resin already absorb the calcium. So calcium ion, what will happen? It will create calcium chloride, because this is positive ion, this is negative ion. It will react like this, and here will be available hydrogen ion. That means it will activate, because normally first time on the resin, cation resin is represented as a RH plus ion. So after providing the hydrochloric acid for regeneration, what will happen? This hydrochloric acid react with absorb cation or absorb positive ion, because resin already absorb calcium, magnesium, sodium, all positive ion already absorbed. If hydrochloric acid provide on the cation tower, what will happen? This hydrochloric acid react with this positive ion and create calcium chloride, and again it will be activated and create our hydrogen ion. Like this, if we provide sulfuric acid, what will happen? Because sulfuric acid and hydrochloric acid both are acid. If we provide sulfuric acid, what will happen? H2SO4, and here R sodium. You think sodium ion absorb on the cation tower. If it is react with sulfuric acid, what will happen? Because this is negative, this is positive. So this negative will react this sodium and R will react with hydrogen. R will react with hydrogen. What will happen? It will create sodium sulfate and R hydrogen ion. If I provide 2, it will be balance. 2 sodium, R2, okay, 2 sodium, R2 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen, okay, and sulfate, 1 sulfate. Okay, if I provide 2, it will be balanced. So like this way, if I provide hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid on the cation tower, in this cation tower are available absorbed positive ion. By reacting with this absorbed positive ion, and after react with absorbed positive ion, it will again regenerated, it will again activated. So finally we will get this hydrogen ion with resin. Finally we will get this hydrogen ion. That means it will be activated ion. It will be free. Again it will be possible to take cation. I hope understand. So on this cation tower, after providing this acid, hydrochloric acid, this cation resin will be activated, will be free. After regeneration, if we give service, so when water will provide on the cation tower, again it will absorb the cation. For this reason, we are doing this regeneration for activation the resin. So this is cation resin reaction. Anion tower also already absorbed negative ion or anion. After absorbing anion, this resin also exhausted. So for reactivation the resin required regeneration. For regeneration the anion tower, you have to use sodium hydroxide. By this sodium hydroxide, possible to reactive anion resin. Because previous time I told you this anion tower resin is represented as a ROH anion, ROH negative ion. When it is ROH negative ion, it is active resin. When it will exhausted, this OH will remove, and another anion or negative ion will absorb. So after absorbing all negative ion, this anion resin will be exhausted. For activation the anion resin, we are doing this regeneration. So we are doing this regeneration for anion resin, sodium hydroxide. So if we provide sodium hydroxide on the anion resin, on the anion tower, what will happen? It will react with absorbed resin. Anion tower enter on the sulfuric acid with water, and sulfuric acid react with hydroxide and create R sulfate and chloride, create sulfate and chloride. So on the anion tower normally available are sulfate and chloride. So on the anion tower already are present negative ion with resin. Which type of negative ion are present? Sulfate and chloride and silicate will absorb on the anion tower. After absorbing, this anion resin will be exhausted. After exhausted, the anion resin need to activated the anion resin. Otherwise, all impurities will be passed with water and it will go to the boiler and all system will be abnormal. That's why when exhausted the resin, we have to do regeneration. So like this cation tower we already regenerated with hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid, any one acid you can regenerate it. For regeneration the anion resin, you have to use sodium hydroxide. If we use sodium hydroxide, because on the anion resin already present anion or negative ion, sulfate ion, chloride ion, silicate ion. If sodium hydroxide enter on the anion tower, what will happen? From this anion tower already resin exhausted with sulfate. If it will react with sulfate, what will happen? This one plus minus, okay. This will react with this and this will react with this. What will happen? It will create R hydroxide. That means this resin will again activated, because previous time I already told you this anion tower resin is represented as a ROH ion. When it is ROH ion, that means it is activated resin. Now it is ready for use. So after using, it will be exhausted by another negative ion. So after exhausting, we have to again regeneration, otherwise all system will be abnormal. This sodium hydroxide react with sulfate. What will happen? This resin will be again activated. Anion resin will be activated ROH ion, and remaining sodium sulfate. With sulfate, what will happen? It will create R hydroxide ion and sodium sulfate. Like this, if it will react with sodium hydroxide, if it is react with R chloride ion, what will happen? It will create this one for this and this one for this. What will create? ROH ion plus sodium chloride. Okay, that means ROH ion means it will be again activated. Now it is ready for again use. Now this anion resin ready for again use. So by this way, this resin will activated and salt or hardness will create. This hardness will throw out on the pith, neutralization pith for neutralization. So by this way, this cation tower, cation resin and anion resin, you have to activated by regeneration. Regeneration means again activation. So after complete this strong basic anion tower resin regeneration, it will passes the mixed bed polisher unit. This mixed bed polisher unit also same process, because on this mixed bed polisher unit cation resin and anion resin are available. For this reason, for cation resin absorb the cation or positive ion, anion resin absorb the anion or negative ion. After absorbing positive and negative ion, both resin will be exhausted. So when it will exhaust after required regeneration. So by this way we can regenerate it. For cation resin, provide hydrochloric acid from the bottom side. For anion resin, we have to provide sodium hydroxide on the top side, because cation resin is heavy water than anion resin. That's why cation resin always settle down on the bottom side and anion resin always settle down on the top side. For regeneration cation resin, sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid, you have to provide bottom side of the mixed bed unit, And for regeneration for anion resin, you have to provide sodium hydroxide topside on the MVP mixed bed unit. And from the middle side, from the regenerated water or this washed water, will throw out on the neutralization pit. So viewers, by this way we are doing this regeneration in our plant. I hope it will be clear for all. If any question about this regeneration or demi plant, please you can comment me. I will try to explain. So viewers, if you like my videos and like my channel, please subscribe my channel and share these videos to your colleagues or friend.